Dr. Habermas, do you think that the Shroud of Turin was the Shroud of Christ?
It's a real nuanced question and a nuanced answer because a lot of ins and outs. My short answer is I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I think there's a really good chance it is. It wouldn't be the highest on my list of evidences, but I would get there in the top 6 to 10 evidences. It would be one of the ones I present. And I do this all my life, so I use a lot of evidences, so 6 to 10 is still high. I think there's a pretty good chance, especially with the very recent, what appears to be the refutation of the 1988 carbon-14 argument against the Shroud, which is really the only thing outstanding against the Shroud. And now it's fallen.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the evidence that there is for the Shroud?
Yeah, I mean, this would take a long time, but there's a world of evidence. The man in the shroud is a male, appears to have been crucified. All the wounds associated with crucifixion, you go, well, okay, but even so, there are thousands of crucified people. Okay, but Jesus was crucified in an odd manner. If your child is doing a report on crucifixion for school, I'd say don't use Jesus as an example unless the paper's on the crucifixion of Jesus. Because a lot of things happen to Jesus that were not normal crucifixion procedure. Like, for example, why do you put a crown of thorns on somebody who was believed to be a criminal? Oh, well, that's easy. He thought he was Son of God. Up, you're going to Jesus' story. But that's not the way people were crucified outside Jerusalem. They didn't think they were the sons of God. So they would report that you have a crown, you have the fact that Jesus in the shroud, if that's him, the man buried in the shroud, is stabbed in roughly the same place as Christian tradition says right here. The slash where the instrument went in is a little less than 2 inches across, right here in the side of the chest. Scripture says he was crucified, and that he was buried with criminals, but I mean, he died with criminals, but buried in a rich man's grave. Well, if the reports are true, we don't have anybody else's bones in the ossuary with him, or under the. He's not in an ossuary, but we don't have any other bones of the other 2 guys in ossuary or under cloth or anywhere. But you don't crucify people who are not criminals for some reason. So that would be the part about crucified with his death. As far as buried, he's buried by a rich man. Why? Because it's a very expensive piece of linen. There's spices on it. So signs of both. The criminal, everything's there. Nailed, 5 major wounds. Hard to tell how many nails. They may have had 1 nail that just put the 2 feet together. So everything's the same. But the most puzzling thing is this person who appears to be Jesus, and oddly, before they could even test it, it was kept for centuries and centuries as the garment of Jesus with no scientific testing. So there's a lineage of belief that it was Jesus's. And here's the problem. How do you create the image on the shroud? Everything we have in science today, you cannot create a shroud image where the biology and the chemistry work out together. As one of the shroud scientists said to me many years ago, he said the chemistry contradicts the biology and vice versa. So there's a lot of oddities, but they're here, and it looks like the image is caused by radiation. But how do you get radiation from a dead body? So there's just a lot of parallels with everything saved for that reason that just say it could have been. I often say low probability. I mean, I might say 80. If you get me on a really, really good day, I might say 90. But I mean, I think the fact that the disciples had experiences that they believe were appearances of the risen Jesus is like 98%. I mean, everybody concedes it. So I think there are better evidences, but I think the shroud's very thoughtful and very helpful.
Oh Lord, remind me of your love. Remind me of your love. Remind me of your love. Hey. Remind me of your love. Ooh, of your